different, but the point is, if someone's going to tell you the future, you might want to do that.
Exactly. You would go up to the person with the question in your head, and if they don't answer the question you have in your head, then you just, take it as, okay.
That happened to me once. Would you like to know?
How someone foretold your future without you asking?
Here's what they foretold. It was a Saturday night. This guy was on the radio. All right, blah, 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 blah. I call.
Oh, yay.
All right. Now, I have a portrait, or I did have a portrait in my room when I lived on Chandler. It is of Victoria Colonna. She was an aristocrat, a beautiful woman, and related, centuries ago to a friend of mine. Present tense. Anyway, she's just a beautiful woman, and I've always kept her portrait. So this man who's going to do my astrology says to me, "Do you have a portrait of Victoria Colonna?" And I almost fell over. I said, it was the last thing on my mind. So I listened to him. But that's what the king is basically saying.
Correct.
Oh.
Know who's talking to you
Exactly.
ahead of time before you listen to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Where do we leave off?
Well, God reveals Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Now we're going to verse 12, I believe, right?
17.
Oh, 17.
Yeah,
Okay.
isn't it? Oh, maybe he's right. We are still stuck at 12.
Right. So because of this, the king was angry. No, let me back up. The king answered and said, "I know with certainty you are trying to gain time because you see that the word from me is firm. If you do not make the dream known to me, there is but one sentence for you. You have agreed to speak lying and corrupt words before me till the time changes. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can show me its interpretation." The Chaldeans answered the king and said, "There is not a man on earth who can meet the king's demand, for no great and powerful king has asked such a thing of any musician or enchanter or Chaldean. The thing that the king asked is difficult, and no one can show it to the king except the gods who dwelling is not with flesh." Because of this, the king was angry and very furious, and commanded that all the wise men of Babylon be destroyed. So the decree went out, and the wise men were about to be killed. And they saw Daniel and his companions to kill them. Then Daniel replied with prudence and discretion to Enoch, the captain of the king's guard, who had gone out to kill the wise men of Babylon. He declared to Enoch, the king's captain, "Why is the decree of the king so urgent?" Then Enoch made the matter known to Daniel. And Daniel went in and requested the king to appoint him a time that he might show the interpretation to the king. Then Daniel went on to his house and made the matter known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, and told them to seek mercy from the God of heaven concerning this mystery, so that Daniel and his companions might not be destroyed with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision of the night. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven, and Daniel answered and said, "Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, to whom belongs wisdom and might. He changes times and seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells with him. To you, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise, for you have given me wisdom and might, and have now made known to me what we ask of you. For you have made known to us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in to Anna, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus to him, do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show the king the interpretation. Then Anna brought in Daniel before the king in haste and said thus to him, I have found among the exiles of Judah a man who will make known to the king the interpretation. The king declared to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, are you able to make known to me the dream that I have seen and its interpretation? Daniel answered the king and said, no wise men, enchanters, magicians, or astrologers can show the king the mystery that the king has asked. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries and has made known to King Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the latter days. Your dream and your vision of your head as you lay in bed are these. To you, O king, as you lay in bed, came thoughts of what would be after this. And he who reveals mysteries made known to you what is to be. But as for me, the mystery has been revealed to me, not because of any wisdom that I have more than all the living, but in order that the interpretation may be known to the king, and that you may know the thoughts of your mind. You saw, O king, the beholder of a great image. The image mightily and exceedingly brightness stood before you, and its appearance was frightening. The head of this image was fine gold, and its chest and arms of silver, its middle and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. As you looked, a stone was cut out by no human hand, and it struck the image of the feet of the iron and clay and broke them in pieces. Then the iron and clay, the bronze and the silver and the gold, all together were broken in pieces and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, so that not a trace of them could be found. But the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This is the dream. This was the dream. Now we will tell the king its interpretation. You, O king, the king of kings, to whom God, the God of heaven, has given the kingdom, the power and the might and the glory, and into whose hands he has given whatever they dwell, the children of man, the beast and the field and the birds of the heaven, making you ruler over them all. And you are the head of gold. Another kingdom inferior to you shall rise after you, and let a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. And there shall be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron, because iron breaks And there shall be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron, because iron breaks to pieces and shatters all things. And like iron that crushes it shall break and crush all this. And as you saw of the feet of the toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, it shall be a divided kingdom. but some of the firmness of iron shall be in it, just as you saw iron mixed with the soft clay. And as the toes of the feet were partly iron and partly clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly brittle. As you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, so they will mix with one another in marriage. But they will not hold together, just as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, nor shall the kingdom be left to another people. It shall break in pieces in all the kingdoms and bring them to an end, and it shall stand forever. Just as you saw as the stone was cut from a mountain by no human hand, and that it broke in pieces and iron and bronze, the clay and the silver and the gold. The great God has made known to the king what shall be after this. The dream is certain, and its interpretation sure. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and paid homage to Daniel, and commanded that an offering and incense be offered up to him. The king answered and said to Daniel, "Truly your God is God of gods and Lord of lords.
Lord of kings.
Truly, truly, God is God of gods